Hello, everyone. I think I am live. I wanted to come on here to talk about something that I'm super passionate about. Um, I wish I had a really exciting headline for this, but I don't really. But it is about the importance of reducing the toxic load in our body. Specifically, if we're experiencing any type of symptom, which the majority of the population have, right? But also if you're struggling with chronic disease or any other type of illness, because high toxicity or toxins they're actually linked to the majority of the chronic disease that we see today, including Parkinson's, including dementia type diseases. There's a long list, right? So I just wanted to come on here really quickly to talk a little bit about that. So most of us know that toxins are bad, right? But I'm not sure if we all are fully aware of the extent to which we're exposed to toxins every day. Of course, we have the air we breathe, the water we drink. There's lots of toxins in water, and water filters don't always work that well. There are certain ones that work better than others. So many times we get, heavy metals, we get toxins through the water. Every day. If we go to a restaurant, we might get toxins from the water that we drink there. We might, most likely when we go to a restaurant and order a piece of meat, it's not organic, grass-fed, or wild fish. Many times it's farmed. And it might contain dioxins and a lot of antibiotics and stuff that even if we buy, the type of fish at Costco that has no antibiotics, it still was raised in a farm, and many times they contain a much higher amount of toxins and other substances like PCBs. So toxins are really everywhere, even if you are taking medications. Medications contain heavy metals, many of them traces of it, and we also get it, like we get toxins from vaccinations. I'm not saying not to vaccinate, but it's just a fact that many vaccinations that we've gotten in the previous days contain heavy metals. Also through cookware. I mean, when I grew up, I know that we used these Tefal whatever frying pans sometimes, and that are not good for your health, and they contain substances, and those get stored in the body over time. And in fact, like most of us, well, probably all of the babies that are born nowadays have toxins in their umbilical cord blood, even before they've been exposed to this world, right? Before they're born. And everyone has a different combination of toxins or chemical composition when they're born, based upon the toxic load of their parents, right? Where they lived. For example, where I grew up in Sweden, there was a factory close by, and that caused them, the state to say that you shouldn't eat certain fish in this type of area very often. More than once a year, and we ate it much more than that. And that I can tell you, we lived by the water, and we used to fish, so we used to eat the fish pretty often. We used to go out and fish like sometimes every weekend in the summers, right? When we spray we let gardeners, or we might do it ourselves, spray the lawn. Toxic exposure, plastic containers, even though they're even cans and jars, anything like that, aluminum foil. There's like so many things, pots and pans, that we get toxins in daily, whether we realize it or not. And a lot of it also comes through food, right? Because the truth of the matter is, a lot of the food that's in the middle of the supermarket section, the packaged food, a lot of it contains things like natural flavors, which a lot of it has nothing natural about it. A lot of it is just produced in the lab with chemicals made to hook us up on eating more of it, right? So unless we're eating a completely whole foods organic diet, we get it through food too. And of course, even organic foods contain some, toxins, some levels of pesticides and herbicides and whatever, but much lower than the conventionally grown, right? I mean, even the substance MSG in some foods, even aimed at children, it's on the label, and that's a neurotoxin. So no wonder we see like ADHD and all these explosions of these types of issues, right? So what can we do then about the exposure of all these toxins? Well, of course, the number one is to reduce our exposure to it in the best we can, right? Not spraying our lawn, filtering, having a really good filter to filter our water, using, pots and pans that are ceramic. Green Life is a good one. What else can we do? Eat wild fish, avoid farmed. We can go for smaller fish. If we eat fish, we can go for sardines or smaller fish that don't have the concentration of heavy metals like tuna have, for example. And so I also want to just mention briefly, what are the signs of toxicity? So heavy metal toxicity specifically can be chronic fatigue, digestive discomfort, brain fog, immune issues, headaches, aches in the joints and rashes on the skin even. And I also wanted to mention toxicity in general. Like there's like so many different symptoms that are linked to toxicity and overload of toxins in the body. And I want to mention one more thing. As women, many of us, we put on hundreds of chemicals through makeup and creams and lotions and potions every day, which also what goes on the body goes in the body, right? So it's a never-ending cycle that is crucial to actually break, to do something about if we're looking to heal, if we're serious about healing our symptoms and getting well and creating a healthy body that we love. So, which brings me to the next point that I wanted to talk about, and that is, this type of weight that tends to creep up on us as we age, oftentimes blamed on hormones. Look at the age and this is to be expected and you can't expect to fit into those jeans anymore. Well, this in a lot of cases it's linked to also to an overload of toxins in the body, because the older we get, the more toxins we've been exposed to throughout the years, and this gets stored in our internal organs. What happens is, when toxins that the liver cannot absorb and handle because it's overloaded get stored in our fat cells, and that won't get released until we get rid of the toxins, the overload of toxins, so that the liver actually can start dealing with it more efficiently. So it's normally, we blame it on hormones. And I was working with a client, this was a few years ago, and she wanted to lose 10 pounds, so not a lot. And she was in her 50s, and she went to her doctor and he said, oh, look at your age, forget it, basically. And I said, well, we can choose to believe that that is true, or we can choose to believe that it's 100% possible to actually lose that weight despite of the age. And from then something clicked in her when we had that conversation. And from that moment on, she just started losing that weight that she wanted to lose. It's super important to realize the relationship. If we're looking to lose weight, if we're looking to heal symptoms, if we're looking to heal a disease or an illness, detoxifying is crucial. It really is the difference between staying where you are, stuck in the current situation, and getting to create the health and the body that you would love to have and live in. And I want to mention also that toxins also play a big role in hormone imbalance, which of course can affect our weight, our mood, our sleep, your mental clarity. So it's true that the body is meant to be self-cleaning, right? But because we're exposed to such a huge load every day through food, air, water, environmental toxins, products, right? Cookware, there is an overload, and the liver can't handle. In many cases, the liver can't deal with all the toxins we're exposed to. So bottom line, toxins not only make us fat, but they make us hold on to weight, and it can cause weight loss resistance. And toxins are also linked to the major chronic disease that we see nowadays. So if we don't reduce the toxic load in our body, the body won't be able to clear kind of like the backlog of toxins, and we will keep the weight on, and also it might contribute to making us sick or giving us symptoms. So I want to mention that please reach out to me if you have any questions about this. But I also want to mention here that I'm running a 14-day reset cleanse, which is a whole foods cleanse. We only eat whole foods. There's no deprivation, no starvation included or involved. Basically, it's 2 days of prep where we go food shopping, and we mentally prepare and make sure we have everything ready. And then 2 days later, the actual cleanse phase begin, when we exclude the most common allergens and irritants from our diet, and then add in a lot of healing, detoxifying, and nourishing foods into our diet. And I remember when I did this cleanse the first time, this was many years ago, I was amazed of the benefits. I never slept better, deep sleep. My skin looked better. I was a little tired the first few days, but then I had so much more energy. And what else did I notice? I lost weight, of course, and this deep sleep. Like, I remember I was like, I had never slept that well. I couldn't remember when I had slept that well. So if you're curious about the cleanse, please let me know. I'm happy to send you some information, or jump on a quick call with you to discuss further, to see if this is a good fit for you at this point in time. And I just want to stress that it's not about going on some harsh detox and liquid diet, or, not at all. We're eating real foods, and we're eating until we're satiated. So if you have any concerns about that, you don't have to worry. So please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so much for watching. All right, take care. Bye-bye.